Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Cork It podcast. My name is Kyle. I'm back here joined by
JJ.
Nico.
And we just want to welcome you back to an incredible episode. We've got great stuff in store for you today. First off, let's do a little around the league. What?
No, Nico's just go
Talking
ahead.
trash?
No.
I didn't even say anything.
Already? And the podcast just started.
Yeah.
I'm going to change seats.
Why?
Because my knees keep hitting this bar.
So move your legs.
I'm too big for this seat.
My knees aren't hitting.
Yeah, because you're tiny.
All right.
You're at least 2 inches taller than me.
Yeah, but a lot thicker.
How much you weigh,
We
Kyle?
gotta change the subject. I don't weigh a ton.
Like 120.
So, yeah. 120.
A buck 20.
A $1.20? No. No, I did think it was funny, though. We went to your sister's wedding this weekend.
That is a lot of fun.
And I was looking at the photos. We took great photos, by the way. And I'm trying to figure out where to post them. And I looked at it, and because the way we were standing it was like kind of like a hill. You look like a foot taller than me.
Huge, yeah.
Like ginormous. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, because we already posted from spring break a while ago, and you also look taller, like much taller than me.
I'm low-key like 2 inches taller than you.
I know you're 2 inches, but it looks like 6 in the photos.
2 inches is a lot.
So the Stanley Cup
There's
Finals
no-
is in full effect. The Blues and Avalanche. The Avalanche are up 2-0 after a 7-0 win their last game. They play Game 3 tonight, and if you go check out our TikTok,
Shout out
I
Dante.
guess you'd be watching it tomorrow, but you'd see Dante posted a little preview for Game 3, which should be very exciting and should be action-packed. Dominic's on his way, so I guess
Yeah.
he'll hop in here when he gets here. But let's first just start it off, do a little around the league. There's not a ton going on right now. We've got the NBA draft on Thursday. We saw the Golden State Warriors win the championship. I don't know if we didn't get a chance to talk about that yet, have we? No. Okay. Golden State Warriors won the championship
Warriors in
against the Celtics.
6.
Nico did call it, indeed. Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Any comments? Steph Curry, Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
It was a
Finally got his.
It was a fun series.
It was a fun series. I still think that Bucks Suns was better, but
You know what was annoying? I watched back a couple of the episodes where we were like making our predictions and stuff, and like, I'm not saying like I
picked the wrong team.
Shut up. But like, obviously that was disappointing. But when it came to like, I remember we were talking like, what would the difference be in the series or like X Factor stuff. Like a lot of the stuff I said was like right. I just in the end I like made the wrong prediction for the team. So that was annoying for me. But
Bozo.
I mean,
right.
to be fair,
Tatum was
disappointing in the final 2 games.
Yeah. He was disappointing. I mean, I still think. I don't know what I think. I haven't taken time to think about it.
he hasn't had a chance to reflect on his actions.
Yeah. I mean, like, everyone's, like, down on him, obviously. But, like, I mean, we've seen superstars have these, like, bad series. And, unfortunately for Tatum, it was just in the finals.
I saw a funny TikTok, and do you know like that trend where it's like
The slides.
no, but it's like the music's playing in the background, it's ask a question or something, they do a pose, and then it's a famous person doing the same pose.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, like, are you ready for your college finals or something? And then the guy like smiled, and it's Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Completely not ready for the finals.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he had, like, the finals excluded. He had a really good playoffs.
He had a great playoff series, but
It was just-
finals he just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Warriors, though, came out swinging. Draymond's talking his trash.
Oh, my gosh.
Steph won Finals MVP. Glad he got it.
Yeah,
Apart from that, around the league in the NBA, the draft is on Thursday.
indeed.
OKC's got the number 2 pick overall. Very excited to see what happens. There's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of stuff that you see right now. Jabari Smith is right now the favorite to go 1. Chet is the second favorite. And then Paolo is third. But I just heard today that the odds for Paolo going number 1 by
just
Vegas
like jumped.
were plus 1,600, and then today jumped to plus 400. So, like, there's, like, some smoke going around. A lot of stuff can happen. I mean, it is far from over.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely something that is going to continue. We're going to see a lot of stuff throughout the next couple of days. A lot of trades. I mean, we have really no idea what's going to happen at draft night because we're filming this Monday, and the draft is on Thursday, and who knows how much stuff is going to happen until then. I mean, people are going to try and trade up. I know that the Kings don't want to draft at 4. They want to try and find someone to trade. They want a win-now guy. I heard John Collins was in the mix for them, but I don't think you use the 4th pick in a trade for John Collins.
Not for John Collins, but because that's what kind of changes sport. But that's what I wanted the Dolphins to do, because they were always like, oh, let's draft. And then they finally traded a lot of their draft picks to get good guys to win now. So I think that's what the Kings should do, because, I mean, they haven't really been able to develop young talent very well, because, I mean, they had good young talent, but they haven't went anywhere. So I think they should try to trade their 4th pick and maybe package a couple other picks to get a good guy. I don't agree with John Collins, because I don't think he's going to be the quote-unquote answer for them, but just to get a guy where they could compete now.
Yeah,
I agree with that for sure. And I think the biggest smoke and stuff on draft night that we're going to have to look for is Shaden Sharp. I think he's the biggest question mark for draft, is that this is a guy that's like top 5 talent, but since he hasn't played any like actual tough basketball, like, I mean, he basically went to high school, skipped a whole year of college basketball at Kentucky, and has now entered his name in the draft. So this is a guy that was a top 5 prospect that is now falling on a lot of boards because people don't like think, well, 1, that he will turn out to be anything, and 2, if he does turn out to be anything, like, what's his ceiling at, what's his floor at? Like, he's got some defensive stuff. They're worried about his effort, just all around effort. Contini's here, so I gotta go grab him. But that's basically, he's one guy that they think could fall. I see a lot of mock drafts having him around 8. The Pelicans. I think Shaden Sharp is that question mark in the draft. I think he can fall. I've seen some mock drafts say as low as 12 to the Thunder, but some of them have him as high as 4 to the Kings. So it's really interesting. He's going to be a crazy dark horse in the draft there. But I think the top 4 is
would you mind him at 12?
I would love him at 12. I think the Thunder have the ability to take a risk there on a guy that they don't know his effort level and all that stuff. So I think if he's there at 12, it would be a fantastic draft for the Thunder. But I think the top 4 is pretty solidified. I think it goes Jabari, Chet, Paolo, Jaden Ivey. Even if the Kings aren't there at 4, I think he goes 4. Anyways, other than that, around the league in the NBA, Kyrie Irving wants out, is what we just found out today.
No, it was...
Or it's that, wants out, but he wants to test free agency.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw that the Nets and Kyrie couldn't come to an agreement, so he wants to see if he can get the contract he wants.
Still, should be interesting.
I think that's smart on the Nets part, because, I mean, why would you pay him, as the Nets, give him a max and not...
want to blow everything up, too.
When he's not playing.
You think the Nets just want to blow it up?
I think so.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be crazy if they decided to blow things up too, because, I mean, they don't really have like a lot of assets to look towards the future. I think like Ben Simmons, I mean, you don't think he's still young enough to be considered like a, young piece. He's still pretty young, but like, do you believe in him enough to like build around him?
No, at all.
Yeah.
He's 25, so maybe not that young, but
I don't know.
It's still young.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can get back to the way he played with the Sixers, Ben Simmons was good. Like, he just got so much hate because he obviously can't shoot. But if you look at what he did with like his playmaking, his facilitating, and just the way he was able to attack the paint, draw in defense, and then kick out the shooters, like, I feel like when he's healthy and he's on the Nets team, I think it'd be a good fit because he has KD as a shooter. Joe Harris comes back, he's a shooter. They got Seth Curry as a shooter. Like, you surround Ben Simmons. You surround Ben Simmons with shooters, then he's a great
His biggest problem is just between his own ears.
Yeah,
that's it.
True. So it should be interesting. I mean, where would you like to see? Let's say Kyrie doesn't want to go. Is he unrestricted? Or is he a player option?
I think
Player option. So let's say he opts out. Where do you want to see him end up?
I wouldn't mind a Russ for Kyrie trade.
Yeah.
Russ for Kyrie sign and trade.
I wouldn't mind that. I feel like it'd be fun to see LeBron and Kyrie reuniting. I think that'd be really cool.
I think seeing Russ and Ben Simmons share a basketball court would be the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
That'd be
coming from a Russell Westbrook fan.
That'd be the only problem I'd see.
They're because they're like the same player.
They're the exact same player.
Tall.
I kind of throwing it out there. I haven't seen anything about it, but like, possibly a Dame for Kyrie.
Ooh,
I think that would be
That'd be
interesting.
interesting.
That would be
interesting.
cool.
That'd be interesting.
But
Kyrie's
I
not
mean,
gonna want to go to Portland.
yeah, he won't want
No,
to go to Portland.
obviously, but
and
still.
especially if it's going to be a sign and trade, like he has to sign it off on where he's going.
Yeah, and vice
So,
versa.
Yeah, and I think
Well,
KD.
no, I mean in the sense of a player option, they don't have to. In order for, let's say he wants to go to a team where they need the contracts to work, then yeah, I guess vice versa they would have to agree. But Kyrie holds all the leverage in where he goes.
I meant the other team.
Oh
Whoever
yeah, the other
is.
team has to want Kyrie, obviously.
No,
Yeah,
Obviously.
If a Russ for Kyrie trade was in talks, KD would have the biggest say in that Nets
Well,
organization.
yeah,
well, of
obviously.
course, yeah.
Because
I-
it's like, does he really want to reunite? with
Actually,
Russ?
but I don't
I
know
don't
if
think he does.
I don't know if he has a huge say in that.
I
Because
feel like
no,
he
well,
would.
for example, if Kyrie's, well, I guess it doesn't. Yeah, in the Lakers scenario, it wouldn't, because if he wanted to go to the Lakers, they would have to make a trade for him to go contract wise.
Yeah.
But if he wanted to go anywhere else, I guess then there wouldn't be any say by KD, because
No.
Well,
he could be like, okay, I'm going here. You can
Yeah.
either do a sign and trade and get some assets back, or just let me walk.
yeah.
Because he has all the leverage in this
Yeah.
situation because the player option.
Yeah. No, if it's going to be a trade, KD is going to have a lot of say or a lot of input into like what the Nets like are thinking, because obviously the Nets would be keeping KD, and like they want to make sure that he's also still happy.
Yeah.
So like if say like the Lakers and the Clippers both like offered trades, they're like, all right, which trade do you like the most, KD? Like, and he'll be like, I like the Lakers trade more, and then they'd be like, okay, we'll do that one.
Well,
I'm not saying he has the final say, but I'm guessing they're going to get his input like
but
that.
I still feel like, yeah, but I feel like in that scenario, Kyrie still has the same what team he wants to go to, and it's just the GM's job
I mean,
to
yeah,
make,
Kyrie
make
has
the
the biggest
contract
say,
work.
but I think with like what we're saying is like if the Nets have options on it, and
Yeah,
they
but
get,
the
and,
Nets-
and Kyrie's good with either
Oh,
one.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Kyrie's
If
good with
Kyrie's
Clippers,
good
Kyrie's
with
good with
either one.
Lakers. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna ask again. KD's not gonna be the final decision, but
Right.
big input of okay.
Definitely a big input.
Would you be okay with bringing Russ back, or do you want these assets from
Yeah.
a different team?
I agree. I think that's a good, fair. That's definitely fair. So let's jump into some of the stuff that we have to talk about. That was our little around the league.
Yeah.
Real quick, so we got the first thing that I know we wanted to kind of talk about was Steph versus KD. Like, where do they line up, like, with their resumes, and where do you have them on, like, the all-time list?
Mm-hmm.
But what our group chat kind of decided on is that we all kind of agreed that Steph was over KD.
Yeah. I think right. Yeah. I
For the
think
main
he's-
reason of KD hasn't won without Steph, and Steph has won without KD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my main argument is that because before Steph won this ring,
Mhm.
people were saying, "Oh, Steph wouldn't have won those two if it wasn't for KD." Like KD was the main reason, and I mean, like you just said, that Steph has just shown everyone that he can win without
Yeah.
a top player like KD on his team. But KD hasn't been able to do anything since he left the Warriors.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an interesting topic. I like we said, like I agree that right now it's Steph over KD, like resume wise especially, but and the interesting thing is like bringing up the 17-18 championships or just KD on the Warriors, and I mean I personally think like they both like needed, quote unquote, needed each other,
Yeah.
like just as bad, and
Is that you? There's your wires crossing right there. You can unplug that. Just unplug that headphone.
Oh, okay. Anyways, and
Wait, hold on.
there was a bug. Anyways, what's interesting about those is like KD definitely was the best player on those Warrior teams, but like since then, it's just been easy to see that like Steph isn't just like helpless without it, and like
Right.
the weird argument I've seen about like what I don't understand about like, oh, Steph has won with and without KD, or like KD needed Steph to win, like, or like that was just it, like KD didn't, or Steph didn't need KD. Like I see and understand that only if like KD went there and wasn't the best player on that team.
Right.
So, but yeah,
But can
no.
you really say he was? I mean, I know he was Finals MVP, but like, it's a whole. It's like
I would say
the
there's a big
Warriors are a
debate.
team. They're not like one player centric.
Right, but like I mean,
I kind of feel like it would be like it's tough because when you put like the two best players in basketball on the same team, it's hard for them to be like, oh, which one of these guys was the better player on the team, because you could say it's almost like if you put, or for lack of a better example, let's say when like, it's not a great example, but like when LeBron and AD first like kind of linked up together, and AD was a top 5 player in the league.
Yeah.
Like we remember AD was a top 5 player in the league before COVID, right? It was kind of in a sense where they were both on the same team, and you're like, well, you could argue which guy is better on the team, but like at the same time they're both like insane players. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously one of them is probably like a little bit better, but at the time when there was the consensus that Anthony Davis was a top 5 player, I mean, you could go either way on who is more impactful on the floor and who meant more. But obviously LeBron's the GOAT, so it's not a great example, but like for lack of a better one, that's the best
I was low-key thinking of the example of the Kobe and Shaq argument where it's like they both average this like very similar numbers in regular season playoffs.
Kobe and
like
Shaq's
finals.
a much better example than mine. That was horrible.
Because it's like it's not like Steph, like his numbers declined deeply when KD got on the team. They both were averaging what? I mean, you're looking at them now. Like,
there's just so many numbers. I can't.
They were.
Let's just say 25 plus. They're both averaging 25 plus.
Yeah.
So it's not like Steph went from 28 points per game to 20 or like 19. No. Like they both were still doing their thing. So I think with that, like I wouldn't say, oh, KD was the definite better player.
No.
Because again, it's like a Kobe and Shaq thing where they're both averaging very similar points a game, and they're both dominant on that team.
Yeah.
So it's like. Yeah, there's a toss-up for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's tough, too, because, I mean, I think that goes into play, like, with the whole, like, with the who's better overall kind of argument is that, I mean, you can go back and forth on some of these, like, attributes. You could be like, well, this guy's got better defense. This guy's got better handles. But, like, I mean, the fact that, like, Curry is stacking accolades and just KD kind of hasn't met those. Yep. I mean, even if you want to just say, well, Curry only has 2 championships without KD or whatever, I mean, at the same time, like, neither of them would have those championships. Right. Let's say, like, even if you took away the 2 championships that Curry won with KD, he would have the same amount of championships as KD and the same amount, or one more MVP. He'd have one less finals MVP, I guess.
With, like, ranking higher on all-time list, sorry, be real. Ranking high on all-time list with, like, the Kobe and Shaq or the KD and Steph, I take it as who is the most dominant or the best at their position. Yeah. Like Shaq, I would have higher on the list because he was arguably the most dominant center. Right. Yeah. Kobe, he's probably number 2 on my list for shooting guards. But like Jordan's better than Kobe at shooting guard. So
the disrespect for Dwayne Wade.
He's number 3. But with Steph, he's now arguably could be the greatest point guard of all time with hand-to-hand Magic. But with KD, it's like I've never seen someone's like, oh, he's by far the best small forward, power forward.
Like, I mean, undisputed second best, like small forward.
Small forward, power forward.
We've seen the arguments that KD is the best scorer ever.
Yeah. Scorer, yes. But like in the position though, like overall in the position.
Also the thing that I'll add is while he was at the Warriors, a lot of the discussions that were happening were like, especially when he was beating LeBron in the finals, like, oh, KD's now the best player in the world.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's true. And it was never like, oh yeah, Steph's the best player in the world now. So like that's where I that along with like just watching that team, and it's honestly it's a testament to like just how good of a teammate Steph can be. Where he's
in the
like
dominance of that team.
Yeah, where Steph just like, I mean, he was like, you don't see superstars or these like arguably, like these Mount Rushmore type players be willing to just be like, okay, no, like this is your team now. Like, I mean, we saw kind of Dwayne Wade do it when LeBron came, but like Steph,
I feel like that's different because of Dwayne Wade's age.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like still, it was Dwayne Wade's team, and he was willing to be like, all right, LeBron, this is your team now. And Steph, to some extent, when KD came, was like, all right, KD, like just do your thing. Right. I mean, there wasn't that power struggle.
And I know we argued about this a long time ago, but I do think that KD was the better player on that team. At least once you got to the finals, I think he was the better player on that team. But like the fact is, like, even any other team that he's on, they aren't winning those championships.
But then again, could we again, it goes with the.
Actually, just kidding. If he was still in the Thunder, they probably would have.
No, right.
It goes with
We
the.
talked about that
Can
already.
either one win without each other? Like I feel like if Katie's in the Warriors team, and Steph gets taken off, I think it's. I mean, Katie, Clay, Draymond, all of them. They're still going to the finals or conference
I
finals.
don't know. It's a whole different dynamic.
But I feel like they wouldn't have easily won or been like, okay, yeah, you're the clear title
Yeah,
favorite.
and
Well, I think
vice
20,
versa.
I wouldn't say
2018,
vice versa.
2018 they
I
would
wouldn't
have.
say
2018 they would have.
Katie's not on that team, so then
Steph,
the Warriors
Draymond,
are
and
still
Clay.
your title favorites. You take Steph off that Warriors team with Katie, then it's like more
Steph,
of a toss-up.
Draymond, and Clay is one of the best trios ever.
Yeah.
Agreed.
One of the best trios ever. Not
Agreed.
the best.
Yeah. Who do you think the best is? I'm just curious.
Kobe, Shaq, Robert Ory,
Probably that Miami Heat trio. I mean,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
or
Or
Tim, Manu, and Tony Parker.
Is Manu
Yeah.
the third?
yes.
Oh, or wait, which year?
I guess Kawhi. Yeah.
Just
I mean,
overall.
well, if you go
Just- but I mean, like,
Kawhi,
all-time.
or
I
if you
think-
go earlier.
I
Wait,
think,
no.
I think
all-time.
Did
historically,
Parker play on that team with David Robinson?
I don't think so.
No,
No. I
he
don't
was
think so.
after that.
historically though, like the trio of Tony Parker,
I will say,
Manu,
yeah,
and
they were there the
that
longest
were
together.
there
That
longer.
was the trio. That was
Yeah.
the trio.
I mean,
but this is a nice segue into the next.
yeah, this is a nice segue into the next one, which is dominance in sports. All right, so we saw, and this is my pick for the most dominant team. I'm just gonna open it up because we saw it happen recently. Was the Oklahoma softball team won the NCAA title, and like there was no question they were title favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, they destroyed almost everyone. They lost 3 games that entire season, and like of all of their wins, I have to fact check myself on a lot of this, but I was looking at it. I'm pretty sure 80% of their wins came off of the run rule,
Yeah.
which was basically just mercy ruling teams.
Mm-hmm.
They were a completely dominant force to be reckoned with. I thought they could have been one of the most dominant teams in all of sports.
Yeah.
So that's the segue into this kind of segment. I want to hear what your guys' takes are and some honorable mentions for you.
Dom, do you have like a team you're like set
Yes.
on? Okay, go ahead.
The most dominant team, it's no question, is the Dream Team and the Olympics.
Okay.
Okay.
That's actually, I didn't think
Chuck
about that.
Daly.
I wasn't thinking about
That was
Here are a
an
couple
names.
numbers.
That
Here are
was
a
an
couple numbers.
honorable mention for me.
That's a great one.
Chuck Daly, head coach of the Dream Team, used 0 timeouts the entire Olympics. They averaged 117 points per game while only allowing 73 points per game. And I mean, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were co-captains of the entire team. So I mean,
Yeah.
the Dream
That-
Team was.
that's-
I wasn't even thinking about
I wasn't
Olympic
even thinking
teams.
about
like
Olympic
that.
teams.
That
That's
was,
when
that was
you
an
have that, it's
honorable
nuts.
honorable mention.
That's
sure.
fantastic. That's probably, yeah. That's one of them. That's got to be it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have anyone else or just?
I mean, I just looked up a couple dynasties. I mean, UConn women's basketball. Gotta
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
up there.
For sure.
Definitely on
And
mine.
I was-
then the 90 Bulls.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was thinking the U.S. women's national team for soccer
yeah, they're
has
they're
a
up there.
fantastic like dynasty and like
Yeah.
almost like a monopoly in winning just World Cups and stuff.
Yeah. For me, I didn't really have a like team I was set on, but just kind of looking at it, some of the honorable mentions I had in the world of soccer, Spain from 07 to 2007 to 2012. They had 35 straight games unbeaten. I know there's been some teams to also break that, come close to that, whatever. But they won the 2008 Euros. They won the 2010 World Cup, and then they won the 2012 Euros. So like that's just crazy. But
Yeah.
also just real quick, even though they're not my team, Arsenal, they were in 2004. They were nicknamed the Invincibles. They won the
Go Gunners.
They won the Prem without losing a game. They tied 12 games, I believe. Anyways, then the Tom Brady Patriots, obviously that's just a dynasty.
Yeah.
Frauds.
Showtime Lakers, that just speaks for itself. But my personal pick was the 60s Celtics, and I put in parentheses the Bill Russell Celtics because with Bill Russell, they went 11-13. Or not 11 and 13. They won 11 championships in 13 years. And then of that stretch, they won 8 straight. So, like, I don't know.
Hard to beat.
Yeah.
Hard to
Yeah.
beat. Yeah.
And I think the difference where in, like, dynasties and dominance is, like, dynasties, obviously, that's, like, for a stretch of time.
And dominance is like for one, like
usually it's just for like one
one year,
season,
like 1 year of absolute dominance from a team.
Yeah, because I don't think we've seen a team.
Well, what's the word for dynasty? I mean, I guess.
Well, I feel like dynasty is like a long
Dominant.
stretch of winning, like in dominance. But I feel like, but when you say most dominant team, you're looking at one specific season.
Right.
So like,
because
team.
Because you could be like, well, the USA basketball is like for Olympics is a dynasty, but like the '92 Dream Team is like the most dominant team of that.
And that's why because my picks were just based off like 1 year or like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 years,
or like a three-peat.
Yeah, Kobe and Shaq three-peat. But like my main thing was the 1972 Miami Dolphins, and that's the only team that's won undefeated regular season, playoffs, and then Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I feel like for dominance, like a dominant season, I mean, I think that's it's the first time and only time it's been done in the NFL.
And it'd be like in the NBA, you talk about the 72-10 Bulls winning the ring. You would say 73-9 Warriors, but they didn't win the ring. They didn't win the ring, you know.
Nope.
Because it's hard to be like you're the most dominant team of all NBA when you didn't win the championship.
Because I think we have never. I don't think we've ever seen a team, or like, be like just all time dominant for an extended period of time. Like we've seen them win for an extended period of time, but like absolutely dominant. I just don't think we've seen that. Like
in any sport or like in basketball. Because I can argue in any sport, the UConn women's basketball team we've watched torch teams
that's fair.
For 4 years straight.
That's fair.
Years and years straight.
Like years and years straight.
Fair.
And like win at like undefeated seasons, win like almost every game by 50. Like insane.
That's true.
I don't know if they've won the national championship every year though.
Well, not every year, but no. What I was saying was like
they're consistently a number one seed every year. And
I was saying
NCAA basketball is the hardest sport to win a championship.
But
no, I wasn't saying every year. I was saying the 4 straight years that they did win it.
Okay.
But like to kind of go even further, like we haven't. I don't think like we've seen them be dominant, obviously, and like you were saying, they were just like torching teams. But like the Oklahoma softball team, like those you said like 80% of the games were run, like.
That's dominance.
Yeah, like, but I just don't think we've seen a team like that dominant
for a long stretch of time. I agree.
But it's whatever.
I definitely agree with that. Did you want to get through your list?
I mean, you guys. I mean, I had the Bulls. I had UConn, Oklahoma. So I mean, my 2 honorable mentions was just the undefeated season, and then my Kobe Shaq three-peat.
Did you got any? I was thinking through it for a while, and I feel like when you're looking at dominance, you see a lot of college stuff come up. And I kind of mentioned this off the podcast. You see it in colleges and like a lot, and I think UConn women's basketball is almost a testament to this, is that I would say you see it with Alabama too, is that because of the way that college recruiting works and the way that, teams invest in their different programs, once you've already established that you're a great program, you're just like gaining all the best talent. And especially in a sport like women's basketball, where not every Division I program invests a ton of money into it. You've got these programs that will invest a ton of money into it, like Baylor,
Stanford.
UConn, Stanford. I mean, even now like South Carolina, like you're looking at these teams and they're just gaining all the best talent because people, like if you're a good college basketball, like women's college basketball player, and you're getting ready to go to like one of these top schools, like you're going to a school that's giving you money. So I mean, that's like almost adds to the dominance. And I feel like for like Alabama and Ohio State football and those programs where you're just consistently bringing in top talent year after year just because of your status, right? Same with like Clemson had it for a while, but their last recruiting class has been not like fantastic. But it's when you have like that, reputation of dominance, like kids are gonna want to come play with you.
John, what?
I was about to say, that reminded me the 71-73 UCLA Bruins men's basketball.
Oh yeah,
88 game win streak.
Yeah, with
That's crazy. Nuts.
Yeah, Kareem.
Yeah,
or Lou Alcindor.
They had
nuts.
They had the NCAA made a rule that he couldn't, like, that they banned dunking.
Didn't Kareem not lose a game in high school and college?
Yeah. Correct.
He lost.
They said in the show on.
Lost his first game in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like
that's dominance.
It's like Trevor Lawrence. He was similar.
Yeah.
He didn't lose a regular season game until the NFL.
Well, on Kyle's point, like the like how a program can be so good just because of their status.
Yeah.
It changes everything. Because I've always said if LeBron went to Ohio State basketball program would be completely different.
I agree
It
with
would be a
that.
powerhouse.
Because, I mean, the next year you already had Mike Conley coming with Greg Oden.
And then players are going to see, oh, LeBron went there. I want to go there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, so many schools now are already getting that. Like, seeing guys like, Joel Embiid come out of Kansas, seeing all these, like, NBA players come out of Kentucky. Like, as of late, I'm saying, I mean, even for smaller schools, for lack of a better example, like, for the MAC, like, OU producing Jason Preston was one of the best things that could happen to that program, because guys look at Jason Preston, they're like, that could be me. If I'm going to a MAC school right now, like, I want to go OU or Toledo. Like, these are guys that are just now producing NBA talent. So they look at those programs and they, like, favor them. So for Central Ohio kids that aren't getting, like, Power 5 offers, like, teams like OU are very, very, like, favorable for them, because they've produced pro talent as of late, and you can basically see that kind of success right away. So I completely agree with that if LeBron had went there in 2003, that would have shifted the entire program.
And like, you see some of these like niche schools, if we want to say in college basketball, like Murray State or Marquette or Davidson. Like, also, like, when players are like trying to decide, like, you also have to think about the connections it gives you. Like, if you're at Davidson and like you're doing well enough, you can just be like, hey, Steph, can I work out with you? He might say no, but like, you still have the option to do that. Or like, you can hit up Ja, just be like, hey, let's work out.
Well, I mean, even that Murray State team, I mean, they just went back to the March Madness and stuff. So I do think
Cameron Payne before Ja.
Yeah, Cameron Payne before Ja. Thunder legend right there. But I do agree with that especially with college basketball and college football, it's pretty huge. But I would say college basketball, it's more dependent on, like, big names, versus college football, it's like programs and stuff. Because it's a completely different sport. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that amount of dominance is hard to replicate no matter what kind of program or sport it is. So if you do it, that's incredible. All right, let's transition. We got, I know Dominic wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit. We have some guilty pleasure media. So, like, music.
Like a song that you will listen to, like,
songs,
by yourself
TV
and, like,
shows,
sing
movies.
every word.
You got any, like, TV shows or movies either? Or just you thinking songs?
B-movie is one.
B-movie?
I can watch B-movie anytime.
B-movie's great.
Shrek.
Shrek's a good one. I used to say Impractical Jokers, I said was my guilty pleasure TV show, but it's because I said it in front of a film class. And I figured that they would kind of laugh at that. As, like, if I said that was my actual favorite show, because it is. But I would say that. I'm going to say this for my guilty pleasures. I really like Doja Cat and Rihanna.
I was going to say Doja and Ariana Grande.
Okay, I actually do like Ariana Grande too. Dude, but I would say
Ari's music, dude.
I listen to so much more Rihanna than either of those artists.
Yeah. So I recently got into Doja. Because I remember one day
your girlfriend put you on.
Yeah, so my girlfriend put me on Doja. But one day we were just chilling in the dorm room and we were watching a TikTok and we both were like, Doja's kind of fire.
Yeah, it's kind of good. So, like, she's got some good songs.
She's very attractive too.
Yes, yes. Like, I've been listening to more Doja.
Simple here.
And it's some heat. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was gonna say.
Yeah, she's a very attractive woman.
Do I have to cut this? Your girlfriend watches this.
She has a crush on Doja too. So
that's good.
My guilty pleasure artists are probably Alicia Keys.
Oh, good one.
That's a good one.
Khalid.
Khalid's good.
And let's go Shawn Mendes, I guess.
I was gonna say Ed Sheeran too, bro.
Dude.
Ed Sheeran, throwback Ed Sheeran, dude.
Yeah, throwback
good.
Ed Sheeran.
Not new Ed Sheeran.
Recent Ed Sheeran is like walking into Kohl's. That's what it sounds like.
Harry Styles is up there.
Harry Styles is up.
Throwback Ed Sheeran is good, dude.
I feel like this is all considered guilty pleasure just because 90% of the stuff we listen to is like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, 21 Savage, and we're like, don't really tell anyone that I listen to that. You know what the most embarrassing thing is, though, and this is another part of my guilty pleasures. I never use Apple Music. I've had Spotify for a long time. I have one album purchased on Apple Music, and it was from 2015, and it was when I bought the Hamilton soundtrack.
I thought you were about to say, like, Imagine
And so
Dragons.
I, like, bought that soundtrack because I wanted to listen to it because, like, it just came out, and, like, people were raving about it. And so every time I plug in my phone in my car, listen, you're going to make fun of me for my guilty pleasure. I thought this was a judgment-free zone.
Batman wouldn't get this information out of me.
Batman wouldn't get to. What do I have to hide, JJ? Every time I plug in my phone, it like reads as Apple Music, so it's the first thing that plays in my car. And the other day, I was driving like 2 kids that I just met because I was at my buddy Mike's house, and I just met a couple of his friends, and we were like driving them because we were like leaving from his house to somewhere else, and they're like, "Yo, can I like catch a ride?" And I was like, "Sure." Plugging my phone, it's the first thing that started playing, and I was like,
nice.
Oh. It was
Great
pretty
first
embarrassing. Great first impression. Yeah, it was horrible, but that's
what people were raving about this.
I don't know, dude. I just
the theater group.
Yeah, the theater kids I was all friends with.
Shout out Liberty Theater Kids. Actually, really.
It was
cool.
actually before Liberty, so it was probably Mrs. Erickson. It was a teacher.
Oh,
She was
definitely
so our theater.
It was our theater teacher.
It was our theater group
Before we moved schools.
No, Hamilton was
Middle school.
It was middle school. It was 2015.
You didn't get
middle
a Liberty
school.
middle school?
No, not until 8th grade.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we were at middle school together, and our theater teacher
That's
told
right.
me to listen to it, so I did.
That's right.
Okay, now you're gonna make fun of me. It was
Your first
you
year at
guys.
Hamilton's a great album. I was raving about it like the whole time. I'll put you onto that
No,
one if you
okay,
remember.
yeah.
That's all we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I have any guilty pleasure TV shows.
You got
or
any movies?
I don't.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
That's
Benchwarmers.
That's a funny
Benchwarmers.
movie.
I mean, but like
So
But
I mean,
there's
like, what classifies as a
16
guilty
Candles
pleasure?
is a.
I feel like
Are we
I'd
like?
say
for
it's
me, guilty
Breakfast
pleasure is
Club.
like you
Would it
wouldn't-
have to be like a rom-com?
I love rom coms.
Because
I'll admit
Crazy
saying that.
Stupid Love is probably my guilty
So
pleasure.
good.
That one is amazing.
So good. I
like
feel like
rom-
guilty
Ooh.
pleasure is
Oh,
like for
actually.
me is like something you wouldn't come out and like just say like proud.
Like with the
of.
boys. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Like name
Hey.
something you do on your own that.
Like I
if
want
you
to.
were- did it around your boys.
You know what movie I'm gonna say?
What movie?
Velocipaster.
Velocipaster.
Velocipaster's funny
Great
though.
movie.
Velocipaster is
I think-
purposefully
I
funny.
think, yeah, but I think that would be like a guilty pleasure movie just because
Fantastic movie.
I feel like stuff
But-
like that it's either stuff you're not necessarily supposed to like for what like who the type of person you are, or just because of how bad something is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's bad on purpose is the thing.
Right, and I think that adds to it.
So for you guys at home that don't know what Velocipaster
Go
is,
watch it. It's a great movie.
It's a movie about a pastor who, after his parents die in a car crash, he goes on a spiritual journey and gets attacked by a dinosaur, and then has the ability to turn into a velociraptor, almost like a werewolf type situation. It's
Great movie.
It's a crazy plot line, but like it's equally like just trying to be funny in the like production value. Like
Yeah.
there's like clearly moments where they like purposefully make it look bad to be funny. So it's a kind of a
Yeah.
joke movie. So I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, that's a good guilty pleasure one, but I was thinking more like romantic comedies for a guilty pleasure. But I mean, that's why I say Crazy Stupid Love is one of mine, because I think that's a good movie.
Pitch Perfect is one of
Pitch
mine.
Perfect is
Love Pitch
great.
Perfect.
Those are good
Love
movies.
Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You got any, JJ, do you even talk about your music?
I don't know. I listen to a lot of music, so
Yeah, I
Right.
kind of listen to everything.
I feel
I
like
don't
as you
find
get older, you
anything
start to
as
listen
Right.
to a lot more
guilty
too.
Yeah.
pleasure.
So
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, you guys got hot takes? This is
Wait,
a bit of a shorter
Drake's new album.
one. Drake's new album. I heard
That's
it's
not
better
hot
after the
take.
second listen.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be my hot take. Is Drake's new album actually isn't that bad?
I heard it's
a
better after
different
the
type-
second
It's a
take.
different kind of Drake.
Completely different
It's a
kind.
dance
Actually,
album.
This
Actually,
is an
yeah,
album
kinda
where
bad.
you're in a club and you're like, okay, let's throw on this new Drake album, dude.
It's house music.
Like, dude,
Ain't
you listen to this,
old enough to be
some of
going
the
to
vibes
damn
of this album,
clubs.
dude. I was just listening to my car and I'm sitting there, I'm just like just grooving, dude.
Yeah, I agree
Like,
with that.
Completely different vibe of
I
Drake,
agree.
but my hot take was gonna be the new album Drake just released was not that bad.
I agree
it
with
was
that.
pretty
I
good.
think that's a good hot take.
I have another topic. You want to get it?
What do you got?
How
I don't
much
know.
time-
I don't
how
know if
much
you have
time
enough
you got?
time.
Okay.
How much time you got?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a shorter one, but it's already 7:35.
Yeah,
So-
let's just
Yeah.
What's your topic? Just introduce it. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
do it in the next one.
Top 3 days at school.
Oh, okay. Let's do that in the next one, because I want to like actually write down a
like weekdays of school.
No,
but
like days.
last day of
Days.
school.
Last day of school.
Snow day.
Oh, okay.
I want to get a list,
You know,
because I've got a couple good ones.
I need to
Hot
think about
take.
that one.
So let's bring that up next one.
hot take. The best day at school is when they rolled the TV in.
Mm. Yeah.
That was the
roll the
best day.
TV and it's like,
Roll the
oh.
TV.
Or your go-to like substitute teacher, like you walk in. Like,
Ooh, a good sub
good
in
sub.
elementary school.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't we have the sub that knew Jack Hanna?
Yeah.
And like she would talk like tell us stories about Jack Hanna all the time.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
cool. You got a
my
hot
hot
take?
take is this NFL season we will learn that Patrick Mahomes is overrated.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I wanted to save this one until we got closer in July for my hot take. Like I kind of wanted to do this one right before 4th of July, but this is the only one I could think of. Hot take: 4th of July is a top 3 holiday.
That's not a hot take at all.
That's not hot.
I mean, I think some would argue that. Halloween lovers would argue it.
We got
Like, where's
Christmas.
Halloween?
As we get older, then yeah,
Where's
July,
Halloween at?
July 4th jumps Halloween.
But not in college.
Not in college.
Oh,
It's tough.
Halloween weekend
It's
is the
tough.
best time of year.
Here's the
in
tough
college, yes.
Here's the tough thing is I
but
looked at my holidays, right? And I'm thinking
Flag Day is number 1, right?
What's your number one holiday?
I think
Christmas.
it's Thanksgiving, but that's just because my family like really like does the most on Thanksgiving. So
we're
like the
getting
food's
older.
really good,
And we're not at the kids' table anymore, so you're
Right, true.
participating
and
adult conversations.
exactly. And then probably
Talk about
Christmas.
the economic state of the world and holidays.
Can we talk about the economic and political state of the world right now? So I'd say Thanksgiving and Christmas are up there, and then probably July 4th,
Yeah, it's
and
gotta be.
then Halloween. I mean Halloween.
And Valentine's
weekend
Day's
just
the
gets better.
worst.
Valentine's Day is pretty bad.
Like
It's
Future,
stupid.
like Future said.
I really like.
Valentine's Day is the worst day.
I kind of like New Year's Eve a lot.
Sensational.
Depends. It depends on New Year's
Those
Eve.
were the
I
good.
love
Because New Year's
That
Eve's
was-
got a lot
that
of
was
it's
good.
got a lot of good and it's got a lot of bad, right? Because you're like excited for the new year, but you're also reflecting, and you're like, what did I do this entire year?
What did I mess up on?
It was
this
like,
whole
what
year?
what did I do this
and
entire
what can I
year?
change about myself?
Right.
Yeah.
That's all New Year's resolutions are. It's like I sucked this year. I got to do this better.
Do you make New Year's resolutions?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think
Do I look
think
like
you-
I need to change?
I make goals.
I don't make.
I'll
any,
make goals.
I
I
don't
make
make
goals.
any resolutions where I'm like, okay, I need to do this.
I'll make
Yeah.
goals, but I won't be
This
like
is
I need
true.
to change this. You know,
I'll make
just
goals,
be like,
and then I'll be like, oh, I completely forgot about that goal. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah.
it's life.
Wait, hold on. I was looking at random hot takes. Maybe to throw in different guilty pleasures. Justin Bieber, like old Justin Bieber.
Dude, new Justin Bieber's kind of fire.
Well,
though.
I
new
kinda-
Justin Bieber is fire, but
we
like
used to,
old
like,
Justin Bieber.
Hate
Everyone
on
hated
Bieber.
Justin.
But that's
Oh.
because we were supposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
right.
the
But
old
it's
Justin
actually
Bieber, it's
fire.
like it wasn't like consistently fire, but there was like you started to appreciate the big songs that were fire.
Yeah, that's true.
I like
You know what I'm
Justin
saying?
Bieber. I like
I
Justin
just
Bieber.
I
love
mess
how
I mess with them. Though.
I just love how Drake was in the baby music video.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the baby video.
Bro, all the memes about Drake, the type of guy to do this, is the funniest
Dude,
thing.
I
the
think my
best.
favorite one is the
And people getting mad about it is the
It's
best.
so funny.
my
It's
favorite
the
one
best.
is the Drake, the type of guy to stop while laughing with friends and say, "I needed this."
No, I think Ian just sent me a bunch of them, and it was like Drake, the type of guy to be like, all right, now a silly one, like someone taking pictures.
The one where it's like Drake, the type of dude to like lick his fingers before going into a cookie jar and saying, "Don't mind if I do."
It's so funny.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bit of a shorter episode today. Glad we're just back here. We were gonna film the Father's Day thing, but I think we're gonna postpone that. Busy weekend for Nico's dad.
Very
so
busy weekend.
We'll get another time. We'll get my Nico and my dad on the podcast. All right. Yeah, follow us on social media.
Yep.
Check out our TikTok. Check out our Instagram. We'll have a lot more content up this week because I'm not gonna be as busy. So the plan is extra content this week.
Yep.
JJ,
Book it.
have a good week.